Thank you so much for joining from San Francisco. We really appreciate it.
Hello, everybody. Thank you.
So usually we finish with one fun thing, but this time we're going to start with a fun fact because I'm so excited about this fun fact. I can't wait. Backstage, I learned something I did not know, a very Washington fact. When it comes to wearables, when it comes to DC decision makers, difference makers, what do they need to know about the ŌURA ring?
Well, and I think you heard this actually from Amy Klobuchar earlier today. This is the only wearable that you can take inside a skiff, which is the secure enclave. And the reason for that is the Navy is actually one of the places where we're really successful, and the bridge of every naval ship is a skiff. And so in order to do that, we had to pass that certification.
Okay, that is very Washington. All right, we have not rehearsed this. We met for the first time backstage. Tom and I just met. I'm going to show you my ŌURA ring readings from yesterday and narrate what you can tell about me just from these 3 data points.
Okay.
And explain each of them for our guests.
Okay, so there's 3 data points here, one of which is your readiness, which is at 75, and that's been pretty steady. Readiness is a measure of how much energy you have to face the day. Good job, well done. Your sleep score...
I feel like you're patronizing.
I'm not. I'm telling you the truth. Your sleep score is a 70, which I don't know for you if that's good or bad, but the interesting thing is it's very spiky. One day you seem to have a sleep score probably in the 50. Another one you have a sleep score that's probably, it looks like 70 or so, but you're pretty spiky. So let me guess.
Saturday's 94.
You have Saturdays, of course. Of course, you have a busy schedule, and you probably travel a lot. That's what I could derive from that. The last one, which is your activity score, wow, pretty steady in the 90s. Crushing it. How old are you? 60? Killing it. Big respect.
I'll take it. Thank you very much. So you had a very personal experience with this product before you became the CEO. How many years would you say ŌURA's put onto your life, and how?
Well, so it started in the fall of 21. COVID was still on. My kids were having a tough time. I had sold a company. We were in the process of unselling it because the shareholders were turning it down. Extremely stressful. I am a championship sleeper, and in this moment, I lost sleep for the first time in my life. And I started casting around for a solution. I found the ŌURA ring, and within the space of about 6 weeks, I had gotten my sleep issues under control. And not only was that good for me at that moment, but also I realized that for the past 20 years of my life, I had been sleep deprived. Anybody who has small kids will relate. I had just been in this world of like just go. And when I got my sleep back, it was literally as if I had walked into a 4K Technicolor movie from a 1960s sitcom in black and white. It was boom. The world had changed. That's the power of sleep.
And you were explaining to me that, and this should be your best-selling book, sleep longer, eat less, do tell.
Well, biologically, when you don't sleep, your body asks you to eat. And the way it does that, it releases a couple of hormones into your body. And basically make you hungry. Cortisol is one of them. And this is an evolutionary thing, which is it helps you survive. If you're, trying to survive on the deserts of Africa, your body, if it wasn't sleeping, it needed to eat. So as a result, if you don't sleep, your appetite increases. That's why midnight snacking is a thing. Conversely, if you do sleep, 2 hormones are secreted, leptin and ghrelin. One of them regulates the amount of appetite you have. The other one regulates how satisfied you feel based on what you eat. So if you sleep, you will eat less.
So this stage has been full of ŌURA geeks today. Speaker Ryan was telling me that who has the ŌURA ring on. He was saying that he knows that one of the biggest factors is consistency in when you go to sleep. But Tom, what is sadly the number one thing that would give us better sleep?
So this is in the wet blanket department. Honestly, if you talk to any ŌURA ring user and you say, well, what's the number one behavior change that this ring has taught you and this software has taught you? And they will say, I drink less, almost uniformly. And I think the realization that we should drink less, it's actually dawning on our society. You can see that. There's less alcohol being consumed each year. But what's most interesting about the way it affects your sleep is that you see it in the architecture of your sleep, and you see the impact of not like, we all know what 12 tequilas is going to do to us the next day, but what you don't know is like, what does a couple of sips of tequila do to you? What does a half glass of wine that you feel like is okay? And when you start to see that your REM sleep, which is usually what is destroyed by alcohol, basically your REM sleep is when your brain is kind of processing the memories of the day and kind of laying down tracks for learning. That's one of the things that happens during REM sleep. And if it's disrupted, you have brain fog the next day. Not just like a hangover brain fog, but actually cognitive fog. So that's a huge thing that you should all pay attention to, is when you wear the Oura Ring, you will drink less.
This is the What's Next Summit. Lots of conversation today about AI. Tell us about Aura Advisor.
Right. So obviously, one of the parts of our vision is everyone has a device like this. It's basically a supercomputer. And in our world, everyone will have a device like this, which is persistent and consistently on your body, and it's measuring you 24/7. And those things are in contact. The third part of the component is some kind of machine intelligence that is living above that stream of information, knows your context, knows you, knows your phenotype, your genotype, knows your medical history, knows all the things that have happened to your life, knows that you're now an incredibly active man at the age of 60, and then is be able, with that intelligence, able to give you both guidance, maybe give you some advice, maybe even say, listen, this is happening and you might want to seek some medical care. And we see this today. There's sort of rudimentary part of it. It's called Advisor. It's essentially a part of the application that gives you advice about what's going on based on your biometrics.
So Krista Pilot of AT&T, who's a great friend of Axios, is here. And I asked her what I should ask you. And she was interested in the difference between how men and women use the ring. I looked into it. You used to have an overwhelmingly male member base. How has that changed?
Well, so in the last couple of years, women have really realized that the Oura Ring is a wearable that's tuned to women. And there's a couple of different reasons for that. One is, one of the key metrics that we draw here is temperature. And of course, as a woman, as your physiology changes as you go through your cycle, one of the indicators of that is temperature, because as you go through the various hormonal releases of your cycle, your temperature changes in a really predictable way. We all know this. It's called the rhythm method, right? That you take your temperature, you try and understand where you are in your cycle. This asset, which the Oura Ring has, I think, better than any other wearable, is tuned to the entire life of a woman, from the onset of menstruation to in their 20s, when they might try and be not conceiving, and so they're working and trying to use non-hormonal birth control to not conceive, to the point where they are trying to conceive. Maybe they're coming off of hormonal birth control and they want to conceive, and so they're trying to conceive through pregnancy, to postpartum, to perimenopause, to menopause. Across that entire health journey, Oura has solutions and benefits to women. And that has been incredible. In the past couple of years, it has switched our customer base from mostly men to mostly women. And the growth in women has been enormous. We've grown women in the last 2 years 250%. And we're a big business now, as you said.
So what is the split?
Right now, new customers coming in, 70-30 women to men.
And your
overall mix is like, call it 60-40.
And what was it at your most broy?
Most broy, I think we were probably 55-45 men.
So in the Axios newsroom this morning, we were trading Aura stories, and our publisher, who all of you know, Nick Johnston, was saying, I only wear a wedding ring, no other rings. Have you considered other form factors for Aura?
We have, but the reality is that this site on the human body is the most accurate place to measure from.
I feel like you definitely don't want to be a watch.
You
right?
definitely
You're
don't want to be a watch.
not a watch.
Think about when you go to the hospital, where do they put the PPG sensor? They put it on the tip of your finger. The reason why they do that is because this is uniform tissue, this is arterial blood flow. Basically, you're going to get a clearer, better, cleaner signal that's more accurate. Here on the wrist, you're dealing with hair, bones, sinew. You're also getting blood on the return trip to the heart as opposed to the trip from the heart, so you're on the leading edge of the pulse waveform. All these things are reasons why the ring matters.
Okay, so Nick is out of luck.
Well, I don't think we're going to be developing a wrist-based solution anytime soon.
You're a partner with the DoD. You do some readiness work with them. You mentioned the Navy work earlier. You're here in DC. We are 0.6 of a mile from the White House. We're 2 miles from the Capitol. So tell us what's up with you and the Pentagon.
So what's really interesting is during COVID, there was a tremendous amount of interest in keeping the troops and keeping people on ships safe. And so we had done some really interesting science looking at the biomarkers and indicators of your biometric that would predict whether you were getting sick. And we could sort of see, like 2.5 days before you got sick, that you were getting sick. And that's before you would have symptoms, and you were still infectious. So this was really interesting, and it started to pull us in the direction. At the same time, many of you may remember this or not, but there was an actual collision between 2 Navy destroyers, which was the cause of which was fatigue. And Congress said, you need to go and look at fatigue and figure out why. Turns out that drove a tremendous amount of interest in sleep and recovery and wearables, and that pulled us into the DoD. Today, the DoD is our largest customer. We have over 50,000 servicemen and women who wear the ring. I've been stopped and thanked for my service based on the fact that I'm wearing one of these rings. This is a really interesting part of our business, and for us, we just want to be a supporter of the troops, and we want to be a supporter of the men and women in our services, because truth is, we want them to be healthy, but we also want them to be effective. We want them to be well rested. We want them to be as capable as they can be. And it turns out in modern war, the most important capability may actually be here. It may be your cognitive ability. And of course, fatigue has a tremendous impact on your cognitive ability.
And when you work with the DoD, what have you learned about how the lifestyles of someone in the service is different, or how can ŌURA serve them? I mentioned to you that for me, the number one advantage has been awareness.
Yeah.
What does it do for people who are serving?
Well, it certainly, there's this element of like, your body's talking to you and you're having a conversation with your body and understanding where you are. That's really important. From the perspective of kind of like, call it force readiness, an admiral on board an aircraft carrier might want to understand how to deploy the resources on that aircraft carrier based on the scheduling that they've got. So in one of our solutions, we actually feed that data to a system on board the ship, and that helps say, this person should be on watch and this person should be on rest. And so you're kind of getting kind of the telemetry of your human weapon system, and you're putting that into another system which is actually managing the scheduling and time.
Oh, so the commander of the ship can see the data for how many people?
Well, everybody on the ship who has a ring. And so
that could be hundreds or thousands? Or?
It could be. Yeah. So
are there commanders who mandate it?
Who do what?
Who mandate it, require it?
Well, it's really interesting. We're partnered with a part of the Navy called the Naval Health Research Center, and they have deployed us into some very interesting kind of forward deployed environments where the entire shipborne kind of complement is wearing the ring, and their data is being worked into the shipboard servers, and the shipboard servers are actually scheduling them. And this is really important, actually, because privacy is really critical. It's actually central to what we do. We view ourselves as a healthcare company, and as a healthcare company, that data that we're collecting, it's not our data, it's your data. And by the way, it's incredibly confidential. But in this case, by anonymizing the data and feeding it to a system, the system scheduler can know, are you ready? What is your level of readiness? Can we put you into this role, and will it be effective?
By the way, I feel like readiness tells you when you're getting sick. Sometimes it knows when you're getting sick.
Yeah, well, there's a feature, I don't know if you've experienced it yet. Probably not, because you're so darn healthy. But there's a feature called Symptom Radar, and if you Google or go on to TikTok and you look for Nikki Gooding, it's an amazing story. This is a woman who was a nurse, and she was sort of complaining for, so she didn't feel right for a long time, and her symptom radar in the ŌURA ring kept on popping up and saying, you've got major signs of stress. Basically, major signs that probably indicates that you're getting sick. And she was like, maybe I should. And she went to the doctor finally and said, listen, this is what's going on here. My metrics are changed. So I'm getting these notifications from Symptom Radar. And it turned out she had lymphoma. And she went to TikTok to say, this thing saved my life. It told me, it directed me. And the thing is, we're not a tool for diagnosing cancer. That's not where we're not. But the fact is that information empowered her to take action that ultimately put her on a path of trying to fight this illness that she had. And the thing is, we're now seeing doctors who are taking this TikTok and commenting on saying, this is why you should have a wearable. Because that prediction, that check engine light for your health is something that everybody should have.
Penultimate question, we're about to get the hook. What's next for healthcare? This is Ina's magic wand question, the blow my mind question.
Look, I think that this idea of the doctor in your pocket who knows you, it's a solution to the problem that healthcare has, which is there are simply not enough doctors to provide enough care for all the people, and that number's not changing. We're not minting more doctors faster. That's just not going to work. Technology is going to have to step in. It's going to need some controls and some regulation, but that idea of your personal doctor, which is constantly looking over you, understands you intimately, is able to give you advice and is credible, and then know when to draw the line and say it's time for you to go see a real doctor, that's going to be an incredibly powerful game changer for healthcare.
Last question, one fun thing. The highest sweep score you ever got, and how?
Well, not being with my kids, having an entire weekend, I managed to eke out a 96. So I've never gotten 100. Those of you who've got 100, respect out there. But
I don't think, will it give you 100?
Oh, it'll give you 100.
What would you have to sleep like 50?
You're going to have to ask Kim Kardashian, because she is like publicly the only person who's gone on stage. I think she has a staff of 20 who help her. That might be how it happens, but there are people who...
How many hours would you have to sleep to get 100?
It's not a question of just sleep. It's the quality of the sleep. It's the regularity of the sleep. It's the architecture of the sleep. All these factors go into it. It's not just about duration.
How about the booze?
And no booze.
Tom Hale, thanks for a great conversation.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was fun.